Good morning. Welcome to my e-learning YouTube channels where we want to discuss about subject business ethics and corporate governance where unit number 5th, that is corporate board and committees basically. So under that today's videos we want to discuss about the concept corporate boards. Let's discuss about that unit number 5th. Before moving to the unit number 5th, we will discuss about this content under that unit number 5th, that is going to be discussed about unit number 5th, that is the definition, need, objectives, types and functions of corporate boards, and how the board effectiveness. Then comes to the role and responsibilities of board chairman and CEO, then board committees, the need, objectives and types of board committees. Apart from that, the committees of international, that is going to discuss Cadbury committee and OECD principle of governance, and Indian committees like Birla, Narayan Murthy's, JJ Irani committee recommendations, and Naresh Chandra. Then last important concept, that is clause 49, the role of CB in governance and governance rating in India basically. So these are the syllabus related to and to be discussed in unit number 5th. So let's start with that today's concepts where we have to discuss about corporate boards. Now when we discuss about corporate boards, so corporate boards means what exactly? So we are aware about that most of the public limited, private limited companies is having the various boards, and that boards specifically work how that organizations or how that board will be involved. So basically it is concerned with group of people comprising governing body of the corporation. So corporate boards is nothing but the group of peoples, basically the directors or maybe that the person involved on that, who are that having that some of the part of ownership. So basically corporate board is a board which consists group of directors to manage their affairs of company and to act as a license with shareholders to protect the interest of the shareholders. So the board involves the group, that is consists of group of people. That group of people are directors. So directors basically as a playing as a role of, that is a to be managed company's affairs and act as a the relationship with the shareholders and to be protect to the interest of the shareholders and stakeholders basically. So this is what the corporate board basically. Corporate board is nothing but group of people of directors to be control and manage of the company affairs. Then to frame a corporate board, so what is the need we has to require as a organization, maybe public or maybe private. Basically private companies corporate board play very important roles because public limited has been involved with the government interventions and some of the rules regarding to the how the public sector enterprises, because but private limited corporate board will play based upon that how the directors positions, how that he will become a directors of the company. So why every organization basically has to be required to frame corporate boards. So what is the need on that? So basically corporate boards as we needed in the organization to be control, protect the interest of the stakeholders, overcome bad practices, then build up the good relation between owners and management, then to maintain good sound accounting practices, appropriate rules and regulation, minimize the risk, management of organization activity and discharge responsibility to various departments. Overall, why it is need for corporate boards, because to be has to be the intention of to framing corporate board. The purpose is to be control and manage the organization. To control and manage purpose, what things we require as a corporate boards has to be required as a control and manage purpose, avoid the risk, avoid the bad practices, to be maintain good relations, then follow the rules and regulations, then control of the organization. So these are the needs arises. So that's why these things will include about the needs for corporate boards. Then what are the types of corporate boards in specifically some of the organizations? So most of the organizations corporate boards is having maybe that public oriented or private oriented. It is having compulsory the advisory boards, then collective board is there, fundraising board is there, governing body is there, managing boards is there, policy boards is there, working board is there. So basically the name itself that board will be work. Basically we can go for advisory boards. Advisory boards will work that has to be give the suggestions and the guidance when we has to be adopt any new things, or when we has to go for merger acquisitions, or we has to go for the new implementation of rules and regulations. Collective boards, then fundraising boards, specifically the work for the purpose of that how we can raise the fund from either nationally or internationally. Governing bodies specifically work for the purpose of that is how the standards we has to maintain, or the policies we are governing, or how to be controlled basically. Then managing board has to maintain about that your annual activities and long-term activities. And policy board will be framed that various policies related to control and manage of the organization. And ultimately working boards has to be maintained day-to-day activities of the organization activities. So based upon that, the work or maybe manage or control of that organization, what things we has to do. So based upon that, the corporate boards has been exist. Then move to the power of corporate boards. So how the corporate boards will work. So basically corporate boards will work to be controlled and managed. So they have the power to frame objectives of the organization, how our organization will be achieved, our goals in the short term and long term, or how we are there in today and how will we focus on the future. They have to frame policies, various programs, rules, and apart from that they have to prepare the budget of annually basis and business plan, how our business will be look forwards. Then they have the power to frame any kind of that is strategy we required and you can implement. Then filling vacancy of board is also the power. If any directors has been retired, or if maybe there will be death due to some of the that is unaffected reasons. Then election of officers of the corporations, then appointing CEO, MD, auditors, independent directors, then determine the power and obligations, remunerations, fixing the date, time, venue of shareholders meeting, approved of the annual report. So these all things means to be controlled and managed. Corporate board has to frame have the many powers basically. So because they are going to be playing as a control and manage, so they has to be set the budget, they have the power, they has to framing the first strategy, they have the powers. Then election or filling of the particular boards, then appointment of that subordinates post or to be the CEO, MD, auditors. Then the power related to the board members, assign various powers. Then fixing remuneration to various directors, and ultimately the shareholders date, time and venue of meetings, and ultimately approve that your annual reports. So that these things related to basically the power of corporate boards. Then come to a role of corporate board and functions. So how this corporate board will work. So basically it will begins with that it will decides organization structures, how the organization structure will be there. So their work has to be decides, and they will frame the strategic planning, how our organization will be there in the long term, and according to them they will appoint right person for right positions. Then they will be provide the information control of the organizations. They will be formulate various objectives for short term and long term purpose, and that will be to reach that they will frame various policies, and to apply that policy they will set the various rules and regulations, and evaluate as per the performance organizations, and facilitate with act always they are fairly honest respect to the organization activities. And apart from that has to go for the functional activities related to, they will frame various policies related to HR, production, marketing, research, and formulate the budget as per the operational activities we needed. And they have the duties will be maintained, or there will be adequate resource to be attained organizational objectives, and disclose the respect of organizational activities, and review that board function periodically based upon that is vision, mission, code and norm. So these are the role of corporate boards or functions of corporate boards. Then how this board effectiveness means how the board effectiveness will becomes to know, that is members should work together, then ensure collective and fair leaderships. So when we are framing corporate means how that effectiveness will be leased to organizations. So it will be help if the members will work collective and fairly leaderships, then code number of discharge of delegation and exercise their powers, relation between that owner and shareholders of their share, elect their number of boards. All directors should liable for the board action and decisions. Not only single person has been responsible. Then certain director needed to discharge certain specific responsibilities. You can assign some of the responsibilities. Then effective method, we can review performance of the various boards, and proper determination of obligation and power of the boards, and ultimately honesty and appropriate decision by the board. So these are the effectiveness will comes to know when we follow the role and responsibilities. So it will be helpful to the corporate boards, will work together, will maintain relationship, good relation with the shareholders, will work as honest. It will help for performance reaching to the goal. So this all you are related to the board effectiveness and your effectiveness of the boards. Then comes to board chairman. Basically, board chairman is that we can consider that the head of the corporate board. So it is usually appointed by the Articles of Association under section 175 of the Companies Act 1956. This is what as a rules point of view. If you are not appointed as a rules, then the member of directors will elect in a annual general meeting as a chairman. So board chairman is the leaders to be take action on behalf of this all directors will be work. And basically what the role and responsibility of the board chairman, their main role has to be there in a board, corporate board chairman. It is should be linked between management and corporate boards, because they has to be as a committee as a leaders, and they has to work as an organization point of view as a future, that is as a long-term perspective, not for short terms. And then to provide as a leadership and guidance to board of directors. Basically the chairman role has been playing as a leadership, and they has to establish some effective working relationship between the entire organizations and ensure that various strategies for the organizations to achieve the long-term objectives, and develop and set up agenda for meeting of the corporate board. So the board chairman has the main duty how the agenda will be there for meetings, and act as the chairman of board meeting of various activities, determine various date and times will decided by board chairman with the concern of various board of directors, and constitute various committees just like audit committee, remuneration committee, investment committee, grievances committee, to be follow or to be maintain a good activity in the organization. And ultimately we should be evaluate the board effectiveness. So overall the chairman should be work as a leader to be follow that managing control of the organization. So the directors, the main leadership will be work as a chairman. Then comes to other some of the role, that is the board of directors include to be recruitment, evaluation, compensations. There has to be go for vision, mission, purpose, effective communication, monitor the and performance of board, then preside all board meetings and work as a ex-official members, and meeting of board not less than 6 times. So apart from other activities, how the corporate board role and responsibility is there, so the leader's role has been played, and that role and responsibility come to the pictures when the will work as a leadership, that is will be as a board chairman. Then comes to the another important person in the corporate board, that is your CEO, that is we know about, that is Chief Executive Officers. He is a person who is liable to execute activation of organization and manage of the organization activities to meet the requirements and stakeholders activities. So basically the CEO is the main person to be work as executive activations what corporate board will be given, and that work will manage with the help of the stakeholders. So they will fulfill that what plan is given by corporate boards, and what plan we are going to be implement, how we are going to be implement that, we have to make a plan as per the stakeholder requirement. That work has been done by your CEO, and when we fulfill that work of CEO is also some of the responsibility, that is development and implement of operational activities. Basically because he is working as on behalf of corporate boards, he will manage the entire organization. Chief Executive Officers, execution of long term specifically and short term, and giving the direction to our organization at operational levels, because he will be work as a on behalf of corporate boards, and direct link between the board and management of the organization, because he will be managing that what plan is given by board and what management has to do in that organizations, and he is liable to be contribute to the goal of and objectives of the organizations, and manage the affairs of the organization. So on behalf of corporate boards means the CEOs will be manage that all, and ensure the strategic direction to organizations, how our objective will be reached at various levels, and also direct and monitor, safeguard their organization assets, appropriate structures to the organization, operate within the organizational policies, Then you should manage the organization activity within our organization budget, following the accounting system, work ethics, that is also important, and ultimately develop employee according to the organization requirement, not for only the as a requirement of employee only, but it should be followed, that should be work as a organization activity. So overall, CEO will be playing important role because has been considered the relation of that is on behalf of corporate boards, and they will be work as a plan and it should be implement to the operational level. So that is the duties and responsibility of CEO. So this is what related to the today's videos, what we discuss about the concept corporate boards, their needs, their role and responsibility, their powers, their types of corporate boards, and some of the two, that is your board chairman role and responsibilities and CEO activities. Okay, so today's videos will these are the concepts we discussed. Next videos will move for the next concepts as per the syllabus will be there. Thank you.